Very good afternoon. Natural indigo is the most sustainable indigo. First of all, I would like to take you to the history of our company, AMA Herbal Laboratories Private Limited. Some of you know, but many of you may not be knowing about us. We are a company that started in 1996 as a manufacturer of natural dyes. Natural dyes are naturally occurred, then what to make about it? That is also a question that is being asked to me many a time. So basically, natural dyes which are occurring in nature are in a most natural way, but you need to extract color from them to dye it on the textile. Traditionally, this dyeing was happening by boiling the raw materials, extracting it into water, and dyeing that, using that water to dye the fabric. But in that, there are several limitations, like you had to transport a large number of volume of raw materials. There were also seasonal dependency, where the season when the crop is coming, only at that time you were supposed to use it, otherwise you cannot use it throughout the year. Large volumes were required to be transported, and there was a standardization issue that what color you get today, you will not get it tomorrow, because it's natural, as we have two fruits which are not sweet as same as the other one is. Extract form of a natural dye is a technology where we standardize the color. We extracted just that part of color, part of the raw material which is giving color, and that was used to dye textile. From the day one, AMA has been focusing on industrialization of natural dyes. Natural dyes are traditionally used to be used by the artisans, which is available in many countries all across the world, including Japan, Korea, Turkey, America, Europe, Taiwan, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, everywhere. Like if you see people in the artisan area are surviving with natural dyes for a long time. But industrialization of natural dyes was not happening before. It was only when we started this industry as an extract form of natural dye, we could focus on the modern machines of the dyeing patents, which are used by the industry currently. And we were able to use them to dye with our natural dyes, because natural dyes were water soluble. They were available in the dye lots, like you have to use just 2% or 3% to get the right color. That's how we started. In 96, when we started, it was said that anything that is not containing the azo dyes, which were just 20 amines, that is considered as eco-friendly. As the time progressed, there was no other standard that was introduced to the world, like sustainable textile. Then it came GOTS. Then GOTS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have 7 versions. Then came ZEHC level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on. All the chemical dye industry that was seen as eco-friendly at the time of sustainable azo-free dye were changed, and they had to modify their products from time to time in order to meet the requirement of the certification. Natural dyes were the same as they were on the day one. And still, we had not to modify ourselves in any way. We are passing all the certifications of the environment, all the certifications of the requirement of the textile industry without any problem. So even if you're using a chemical dye, we just saw a wonderful presentation by Suzuki-san, and he explained about the circularity and AI usage and the different kind of technologies that he's using. So today he's maintaining them, and it's a fantastic thing to see as AI. But did we knew AI before, say about 10 years back? We were not knowing this. We were seeing computer as the latest technology. But now we have AI, and some other things will come. So some data that we are having today for the synthetic dye industry, maybe we will have some different data tomorrow. But as my experience goes in last 27 years with working with the natural dye, something that was sustainable 27 years back is still sustainable without any change. And the whole reason and the bottom line is that this all muhim to save the environment is to protect the nature. And natural dyes are the most natural, and they are from the nature. So they can't be anything more sustainable than the natural dye by themselves. This is about natural dyes. We started getting into the denim industry, that was around 2003. The first rope dyeing run was run in a KG Denim industry, which is a renowned denim company in India. But then we had several problems, technological challenges. It can't be run, it is choking the dosing pumps and so on. We had to remove those impurities from there. And then after we established this for the first time in Arvind Mill, India, that was 2006, where it was successfully run. Further taken abroad by Bosa and many other companies. So today, out of the total top 20 denim companies of the world, about 10, 12 are our customers. So thanks to all of them for using and encouraging us by using our product and commercializing them. All the leading brands of denim are aware of the benefits of natural indigo. And natural indigo, that's what they worldwide use. It's about sustainability. We were asked several questions and we have been trying to defend them with our knowledge, with our endeavor towards achieving the newer things. For example, they said that, okay, you're producing natural indigo. What about if we want to test it's really natural? Because the color-wise it looks same. How do we test it? And it was not about natural indigo, it was about the other dyes as well. That was the question that came. So AMA took that initiative to establish the testing parameters for all the natural dyes with Indian Institute of Technology. And then after establishing the standard, we took it to the BIS, which is Bureau of Indian Standards. We published 10 standards of natural dye identification by India. Then we took them to ISO standards. And I'm happy to say that 6 standards, 5 are already published as ISO, and 6th is going to be published in July by ISO. And I'm there as a project leader to the world who is getting these ISO standards made. I'm representing India in international forums since 2016. And of course, when it is ISO standard, it passes by the technical experts of about 60-70 countries who vote for it and they question it. It takes about 2 years to get one ISO standard published. So it's a very in-depth work and it's really a work of technology. After that, the industry again came and said, what about LCA study? Have you ever done that LCA study of your product versus synthetic indigo? So we invested into that. That was way back around 2016-17. And when we invested into the LCA study of natural indigo versus synthetic indigo, all the points were positive. For example, making of 1 kilo of synthetic indigo powder produces about 10.8 kgs of carbon footprint as per LCA study. And making of 1 kg of bio-indigo reduces carbon footprints by about 680 grams. And similarly for ecotoxicity, human toxicity, eutrophication, we are much better than the synthetic indigo in all the ways. So in a way, if you replace your 1 kg of synthetic indigo with 1 kg of bio-indigo, you actually benefit environment by reducing carbon footprint by about 10.9 kgs or maybe more. Because 680 grams is a reduction, that also counts. So consider you are consuming maybe 5 millions of indigo in a year. And if you just replace that thing, how much of a carbon footprint you will be saving? So this has been the calculation that has been going on. But there was one point that was considered as a negative in our area, and that was consumption of water. It was seen that natural indigo, which is cultivated naturally, is consuming a lot of water. And that water consumption was a question. So we took this initiative. I would like to show a film to show you what we did. So it explains you a little bit, then we can take it forward. Please.
Sustainable farming is not a new concept. It is the inherent farming technique
This is indigo
that
farming
was left behind
that we have
due
taken
to
as a
the
new
fascination
initiative.
with chemical-based modern farming techniques. But now the wheel has turned into a sustainable direction. A business which is generating income, protects the environment and gives rise to the social and economic status of people associated with it, especially the poor people, is considered an ideal business. There are not many businesses of this kind which are available for this purpose. AMA Herbals is doing it in the form of natural dyes. Of course, natural dyes are more sustainable and eco-friendly when we compare them with synthetic dyes and their production. But from the social angle, they are beneficial because they generate a high income. This income generation is also under a big question mark due to the usage of heavy chemical fertilizers, and also residues of the products are not utilized properly. But AMA Herbal has been able to integrate them through its backward and forward integration methods. We have supported indigo farming for backward integration. This farming is also generating employment opportunities. It is also giving another cash crop to the region of Uttar Pradesh, where it will now be seen as a crop which would earn more than the current cash crop mintha. It is also stimulating soil health due to its natural legume nature. Therefore, the upcoming cultivation will not require too much use of chemical fertilizers. We understand a new thought and a new concept which is passing on to farmers will require specific technical inputs, hand-holding and step-to-step support which they lack due to lack of education, knowledge and scientific understanding. We bridge this gap by employing highly experienced agri-scientists and they established the repaired scientific data. They communicated this scientific data and technology to the farmers without any charge. AMA Zinc Farm is supporting the rising themes in the sustainable agriculture of India. A successful and knowledge-intensive adoption needs capacity building and knowledge exchange among farmers. This is exactly what we are doing through our amazing farm. AMA Zinc Farm is also preventing the farmers from the inimical long-term consequences of orthodox agriculture. This is why farmers are not looking for alternatives for their livelihood and sticking to sustainable farming. Amazing Farm is integrating three key areas: environmental health, social equity, and economic prosperity, reducing the necessity for chemical fertilizers and pesticides and stimulating the crop diversity. AMA Herbal, under the leadership of Mr. Hamza Zaidi, VP Sustainable Business Opportunities, and the next generation in the business, is combining its abilities towards cultivation as backward integration, which is of great use for humanity and Indian agriculture. To start with, Amazing Farm as a concept where we are doing that is monitored scientifically under the special supervision of an agri-scientist and farmer.
So this is the cultivation of indigo. Now indigo has been cultivated since ages. It's available in India as Indigofera tinctoria, in Japan as a polygrammic tinctoria, and in European area as a Vatis tinctoria. But indigo cultivation is conventional, where the water is given as a irrigation is done by flood irrigation method, and the flood irrigation method requires a lot of water consumption. On 1 hectare of land, it consumes about 250 million liters of water. That's huge. Of course, anything that we cultivate, we have to consume water, but as we are comparing it with a dyestuff, and for a dyestuff, not for the human consumption, we have to be careful about it. With our efforts, we invested in this sprinkler irrigation systems. And in sprinkler irrigation system, we have been able to reduce from 250 million to 6.8 million. So that's a considerable reduction, 68 million. That's a considerable reduction, and this reduction is about 70%. So 70% water reduction, which makes the product the only pain point as reasonable pain point, not a hugely pain point. So indigo becomes more sustainable with this. And just to share with you how it benefits the farmers, India has a huge population, and most of it lives in the poor, are poor, and they live in the rural areas of villages. They are looking for livelihood, and the indigo is cultivated from the month of January till the month of May, June, that's all. So usually when they are having their cash crops, which they are running currently, they start from June and they finishes by December or maybe early January, or maybe mid of Feb maximum. So usually these periods where we are cultivating indigo is a period where they are not cultivating anything. So we use land when it is not used for anything else, but is lying vacant. And apart from that, indigo is such a beautiful crop that when you cultivate indigo, being legume in nature, it fertile the land, it increases fertility of the land. Because the legume is having some noodles in the roots. Those noodles accumulate nitrogen, and they fill nitrogen to the land, and that makes this land more fertile. So the next crop that is coming after indigo does not require as much chemical fertilizer as they use usually. And also what we are encouraging now, that when you're using a land for the cultivation of indigo, usually we are expanding it as a contract farming in our control, whereas right now we are buying from Tamil Nadu area, which is also in contract farming, but it's not in directly our control. We have other people to control it. So we are bringing it to UP in our direct control. So there we are not allowing any chemical fertilizer to be used. So in coming days, in a few years from now, we shall be able to give you a certified organic indigo from these fields, because the lands will be converted into organic. That will be the first initiative. World doesn't have this kind of a category at this moment. So this is what we did in the cultivation area. Further, in the technology area, the main paper about the topic of this product, the topic of this address is biologically reduced, pre-reduced natural indigo. Indigo is such a beautiful product. The whole industry of denim, when they buy a powder form of indigo, they have to reduce it using hydrosulfide. But nature has made indigo in a way that it doesn't require to be reduced. It's already into the pre-reduced form in the green leaves of indigo. And that greenery, which is chlorophyll, protects the reduction of indigo into the leaves. If the green leaves are turned blue, then you can't withdraw indigo out of it. That's the beauty of natural indigo. When these green leaves are soaked in water, they start discharging indigo to the water slowly, slowly, slowly. And after the indigo is being discharged, that water turns greener. And that green confirms that it's in a reduced form. Then in order to make this collection of extract form of indigo, we have to do oxidation of this water. First separate the leaves from it and then do the oxidation of water. Once we oxidize it, the indigo becomes undissolved, it gets oxidized, and it settles down as a slurry at the bottom. Then the water is taken off and this slurry is dried, and this is how the powder form of indigo is made. And when we want to make it as a powder form, this was a technology that is being seen by, and it is being used by many, many people all over the world. What we have done, after we have extracted the product from the leaves, and the product is available in the reduced form of indigo, there we add some fungi, some good bacteria, both food grade, and we start getting it and it proceeds towards biological reaction. With this biological reaction, it filters off the remaining oxygen from the water. And in this situation, the indigo becomes fully reduced, and that's biologically reduced. No any harmful chemical, just some organic chemicals are being used, which are used for stabilizing as eco-friendly stabilizing agents. At this stage, we stop. And then we also evaporate a little bit of the water to make it more concentrated. And right now the product is available with 25% indigo tin content. You can come to our booth to see how the shade is and how the product is looking like. And hopefully in a couple of weeks from now, the first production run will be run in India. So we shall be having a product made ready to show you. This is for the first time that we have, and the benefits that we have over the other synthetic indigo in the liquid form that we have available is, it is not manufactured using hydrogenation process, where you have to inject hydrogen into it to filter off the oxygen, and then you have to supply it in a nitrogen-filled container. No, nothing of that kind is required. There is no hydrogenation that is happening. And as the hydrogenation is not happening, there is a lot of heat energy which is used to do the hydrogenation. We are saving. And a lot of electricity is being saved in the way. So when we are doing that, we are making a product which is more eco-friendly. There is one more method of reduction, that is the electrolysis process, which is a smart indigo, where we have a machinery. That machinery each denim mill has to install, and it converts about 1 tons of indigo in a day by smart indigo using electrolysis process. So that also consumes a lot of heat energy, and a lot of investment is required at the end of a mill to establish that system with him. So none of that kind is required. You don't have to change your system anyway. No modification in the machinery is required. No modification in the system is required. This is not with the hydrogenation. This is not with electrolysis. This is biochemically or biologically reduced. So this particular reduction is in a way that the transportation is easy. We don't need nitrogen-filled container to transport it. And also, there is no need of caustic in the process. The product is designed in a way that you don't have to add caustic in the process. And the hydrosulfide use is also 50% less than the conventional use. So you save upon the caustic, you save upon the 50% of hydrogenation, of hydrosulfide, and this affects the saving on the ETP treatments also, because the ETP loads will be less. So in a way, a natural indigo, which is biochemically reduced, and then there is no energy, no hydrogenation, so energy saving. And then you don't have to do any changes in the plant You have to just use it the way you have been using other liquid indigos. So it's all plus, plus, plus that you save, and also saving on the ETPs. So on slasher, on rope dyeing, you can conveniently run the product without any modification. And of course, as AMA, we support you technically in any place where you need any technical support. No pre-wetting is required. It's already pre-wetted. You directly add into the bath and start dyeing. At the same time, in our manufacturing process, as I said, that we evaporate some water to make it more concentrated. So the water which is evaporated is recollected. So in the manufacturing process, we have established it in a way that 60% of the water used is reused water in the next process. Only 40% is fresh water that we use. So we save water there as well. And then there is a question that comes to me all the time. Scalability. As this is a natural product, how do you do a scalability of it? Just to share some data with you, 1 acre of land produces 800 kg to 1000 kgs of indigo leaves in a year. And typically India is having about 15,000 acres under the cultivation of indigo in South India at this time. So if we convert this particular production, total production, into just bio-indigo pre-R, which is pre-reduced indigo, we can produce about 190 million tons of pre-reduced bio-indigo in a year. And if more quantities are required, it can be planned and it can be increased. So scalability is not an issue. Scalability can definitely be achieved, and that is not a problem at all. Secondly, and the most important, which is like the commercial part of it. Cost-wise, if we compare it with the bio-indigo of powder form, cost-wise it is less by about 25 to 30% because we save upon the drying of indigo and we pass this benefit to the customer. So it's comparatively cheaper. Use-wise it's easy. And my message to all the respective mills in the hall and also to the world is that most of the brands have already taken their agenda to add natural product in the niche segment of their portfolio. There you can pitch in this product to start with. And once they get into this, they start with it. The product is so beautiful that it's going to be loved. And once the quantities increases, scalability increases, and on the economy of scale parameters, definitely the product gets benefited on the prices. So economy will be achieved. Definitely, of course, we cannot compete with chemical indigo in any way. We will never be matching that price, but the differences will be considerably reduced. So this is what I have to say. And this has been a wonderful exhibition so far in the last 2 days.